fine, perfect. So let's start with the questions, yesterday assignment questions. So this was a set of questions which I have posted. First question is create a college table with branch ID, branch name, HOD ID, HOD name, the student ID, student name as columns, and all the IDs columns must be mandatory column. Okay, so here the catch was this line. Okay, this was the catch. This was simple, like you can create a table, you can write create table, college, you can write branch ID, branch name and all those things. But here I have mentioned that all the IDs column must be mandatory. Okay, so try to understand what is mandatory and what is not null. Okay, if I'm telling mandatory, so automatically means I'm meaning that is not null. Value must be there. Okay, so mandatory and not null, they both are one and the same. Mandatory is same as not null. So if someone is saying that, okay, this column is mandatory, so it means you cannot insert null records in that particular column. Okay, so that is the meaning of mandatory. So if I'm telling that this column is mandatory, or if I'm telling this column is not null, so they both mean the same. So here, so in this first question, which all columns will be mandatory columns? Branch ID, okay, and then your HOD ID, then your student ID, right? But few of you have made branch name, HOD name, student name as well mandatory, not null, right? So that is not correct. You should make only branch ID, HOD ID, and student ID, because explicitly I have mentioned that all the IDs column must be mandatory. So you have to make only this mandatory. You're not supposed to make branch name as mandatory. Okay, is this clear? Any question on this? Any question, guys? Is it clear? Yes or no?
Yeah, clear.
Okay, fine. Now the question is, you can tell that, okay, Tanveer, you have told that all the IDs column are mandatory. I have made that column as mandatory. Okay, let me write syntax of this. Branch name add to 10. Okay. Now I have told you to make all the IDs column mandatory. So most of you all have done this correctly. You have mentioned here not null. You have mentioned here not null. This is the way. So this was correct. But some of you, what you have done, no? Like you have made this branch name as well, not null. Okay. You have kept this student name as well, not null. Guys, don't think that, okay, I have not done this mistake, so this is not for me. This is a generic concept you all should know. Okay. Now my question is, okay, I have told branch ID as a mandatory. You have made that as a not null. That is correct. You have made HOD ID as not null. That is correct. You have made a student ID as not null. That is correct. But I am telling that why you have made branch name as mandatory. Why you have made a student name as mandatory. Have I mentioned in the question? Anywhere? No, it's not mentioned, right? Then you can cross question me that then what's the problem? If you have not mentioned and I have made branch name as mandatory, what's the problem? That is good, no? You will get some value for branch name. If by mistake someone has forgot this. Okay. So now this question is over to you guys. Tell me, what's the problem? First of all, is my question clear?
Can you repeat the question, Tanveer? I actually joined late.
Okay, fine, no problem. So, Pratish, we are talking about the first assignment question. Okay, yesterday I have said the assignment question. So in that, this is the first question we are discussing about this. So the question was to create a college table, okay, with this columns, branch ID, branch name, HOD ID, HOD name, student ID, student name, as a columns, right? So, and the condition was like all the IDs columns must be mandatory. So first of all, mandatory and not null, they both are same. Whether I am telling these columns are mandatory or these columns are not null, they both are one and the same. Don't get confused. Whether I am asking or this question is being asked in the interview, okay, they both are same. Or you are working in the project on the mapping a specification. The business analyst, he has mentioned that this column is not, this column is mandatory. They both are one and the same. Don't get confused. Okay. So someone has written this piece of code. Okay, okay, Tanvir, this is the solution. I was evaluating this and I told that, okay, this is fine. But my question is, I have not told you to make names as mandatory. Correct? No? In question, I have not mentioned that branch name is mandatory, student name is mandatory. Then why you have made this branch name and student name as are mandatory? Okay, so that particular guy is cross-questioning that what is the problem? If I have created a student name as mandatory and branch name as mandatory, then what's the problem you have? The columns, what you are telling IDs, I have made that as mandatory. But if I'm making some other columns as mandatory, then what is the problem? But this is my question to you guys. What's the problem with this? Is the question clear now to everyone? Or you want me to repeat? Hello, I'm speaking to everyone. Is this the question clear? Anyone who can reply?
Yeah.
Clear? Mrinal, Dhanya, Pritesh.
Yeah.
Clear. Okay. Now, anyone who can try that, what's the problem? Please, guys, you have to think. Tell me. Don't bother about the answer is right or wrong, whatever it may be. Just apply your brain and tell me that what's the problem. Suppose I'm giving an example. You are filling a form. Okay, you are filling a form, and in that form, they have mentioned that they are asking for your landline number. Okay, they are asking for your landline number, and they have made that as mandatory. Okay, they have made that as a mandatory. That no, this is a mandatory column. So what's the problem there?
Many candidate don't have the line number. For them, it's very difficult to fill, right?
Perfect. Very good. Very good. Many of us don't have landline number, right? Those are the days when everyone is having landline numbers, no mobiles were there, right? Nowadays, very few, I think rarest of the rare, you will find that landline number they have. But the form is not allowing you to submit. Okay, they are asking for the landline number. So that's a mistake of the creator of that form. He would have not made that particular landline number field as mandatory. He would have kept that as optional, right?
Mm.
Now, the problem is that particular student will not be, or that particular participant will not be able to fill the form. Correct? Ultimately, how he can fill? He cannot fill, or else he will give some random number. Correct? No? So that's the thing. If some column is not required, if you think that is optional, don't make it mandatory. Now, here what will happen? In this case, take the example of this. And guys, please try to understand this concept. These are very, very core concepts, very minute concepts. Okay. And interviews, like interviewers nowadays, interviewers, they're asking scenario-based questions because everyone knows that if you're going to attend an interview, you will Google the questions and you will just mug up. And in the interviews, we used to vomit, right? That happens. But nowadays, the interviewers, they're asking scenario-based question that if this happens, how you will handle. If this is a situation, then in this, what you will do, like that. So you should be ready with all the if-else condition. Okay, so suppose this is I'm trying to insert a data. This branch ID is 1, branch name A, HOD ID is 2. I'm taking some random numbers, okay. 1, student name is B. Now, suppose I don't know the student name as of now, so I've kept this as a null, okay. That maybe I will check with the principal or the HOD what's the name of the student. I've kept this as null. So once he will be there in the college, I will check with him and then I will insert. Okay. Now, missing select convert. Okay, sorry. Now, cannot insert null into this. So this is throwing this message that I cannot insert null into this. Why this has happened? Because you have made a student name as a mandatory column. So this is what we don't want. That if even if a student name value is not there, our requirement is that record should be inserted. But because of this a small mistake, now you are not able to insert any record. Is this clear now? So that is why those who have done this mistake, they have made a student name, branch name as well, not null. That's a mistake. If you are doing this in the exam and you are under the impression that, okay, IDs was asked to make mandatory, I have made a student name, HOD name as well mandatory. That is the incorrect answer. And that is why for few of you, I have told you to please revisit your solutions. Okay. Perfect. Any question on question number 1, guys? Anyone? No question. Okay, fine. Next question. Create a transaction table with transaction ID, customer name, customer location as columns, and transaction ID should be a primary key. Okay. I mentioned transaction ID as a primary key. So this was correct. Most of you have done this. Means correct. Okay. But again here, if you are, I have told only to make transaction ID. Okay. Someone what? Okay, I'm not sure who has done, but not a problem. Someone has written like this, create table transaction ID, customer name, add 10. We have missed the data type here. Add 10. Okay. Someone has replied like this. Okay. What's the problem in this? Tell me, who will tell? What's the problem? Okay. Come on, guys, who will tell? Think, where is the mistake in this code? Who wants to go first? Very simple mistake. Try to think. Try to concentrate on the condition. What's the condition here? Come on.
Transaction ID should be primary key.
Very good. The condition is transaction ID should be a primary key. Okay. Now, second question. Have I made the transaction ID as a primary key?
No, actually there is some other ID you have created. Transactions, it should be transaction ID, and in primary key we have mentioned transaction space is there.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, that was my my mistake. Type of mistake now.
Yeah. And you have already mentioned the not null, so we don't have to.
Perfect. Very good catch. Guys, if you have mentioned here that this transaction ID is a primary key, okay. So yesterday we have discussed that if you have mentioned a particular column as a primary key, so by default that will not take any null values. That will be not null. If you guys remember, we have discussed this yesterday, right? So why you are mentioning this again? Transaction ID not null. Is this required? Do you think this is required?
No.
No, this is not required. Correct. So that is why you have mentioned the primary key transaction ID. That is fine. Now, second question. Suppose someone will tell you that, okay, Tanvir, I don't want to keep this as a primary key. Why I should mention this as a primary key? I have already mentioned there that this transaction ID is not null. Is this fine? Is this fine?
No, actually it will take a duplicates.
Perfect. Very good. Because I have told to make transaction ID should be a primary key. And for primary key, if you remember, we have discussed two conditions yesterday. First one was it should not have duplicate records. It means all the records must be unique. And second, it should not have null values. So you are correct. If I am taking transaction ID as not null, the second condition will be met. But what about the first condition? It will accept duplicates, right? So that is why you should be very much careful with the question statement, what it is mentioned here. Okay. Hope this is clear. Any question on this? Prasad, do you have any question on this?
No.
No. Okay.
We need to mention primary key as explicitly.
Perfect. You have to mention primary key as explicitly. And if you have mentioned that this column is a primary key, no need to mention not null and all those things. Okay. Hope this is clear. Okay. No questions, right? Okay. Third question, in the below table, which column is an ideal candidate for primary key? Most of you have done mistake here. Guys, don't feel embarrassed if I'm telling most of you have done mistake. It's not to demotivate you. Okay, so what again and again I'm repeating, don't bother that your answer is correct or incorrect, right or wrong. You are not in a test here, right? So you have to evaluate your own self, that where you're doing mistake. So the reason why I'm telling is so that everyone should understand that where the mistake is, in which aspect you have to be very much careful. Okay, see, question number 1 and 2, what all we have discussed so far, those were the very minute mistakes. But if you'll do this mistake, so that's the problem. One more thing. I'm not sure, maybe in the question number 4th or 4th, someone has done like this. Okay, tell me here, suppose, I'll take this example, the same question number 2 only. Okay, suppose if I will write like this. Now, is this correct?
No.
Instead of transaction ID, I have written TXN, transaction ID. Why? What's the problem here?
The name mentioned is a transaction ID completely.
Correct. So whenever in your project or in interviews, if someone is telling you that I want this column name, then you have to mention this column name only. Very important. Okay, this is very important. Why? Anyone can tell me why? What is the reason why this is important?
Because this column may be used for other references and
Perfect. Great.
another joins or anything.
Great answer.
So what are the specifications mentioned is throughout the document, it is with this name only.
Perfect. That is what. Perfect answer. Because maybe the same column, the other guy, the business stakeholders or the business analysts, they have used that n number of places in different documents, in different mappings, in different tables. And if you have changed this to TXN ID, so the joins, if you're trying to join the two tables, that will fail. We'll discuss join and all those things. Okay. So the crux of the story is, so try to create a table with the columns, which is exactly mentioned here. If suppose the spelling is wrong, if it is SESCTIN, check with the business analyst that, okay, this is wrong. Shall I create with the same name? If it is, he is telling that, yeah, create with the same name, then you should not change this. And you will think that, okay, that spelling was mistakes. So I need to create like this. No. Okay, that will be a big mistake. Okay. So, okay, so hope this was clear. Now, question number 13, the below table, which column is an ideal candidate for primary key? Now, yeah. Which column is an ideal candidate for primary key? Who will tell the answer for this? And this, who is an ideal? This is the keyword here, ideal. Who will tell?
ID is the
ID.
Okay, see, ID and name, they both are eligible candidate for primary key, correct? ID and name, they both are eligible candidate for primary key. Why? Because they both are fulfilling the conditions of a primary key, correct? No, conditions of a primary key, the first is it should not have duplicates. ID is not having duplicate, name is not having duplicate. First condition met, they both have satisfied. Second condition, they must be not having null values. ID doesn't have null, name doesn't have null. That means they both are eligible candidate. Correct. Now, If the both are eligible, we have discussed yesterday, then in that case, you have to consider the numeric columns or integer column. So here ID is an integer column or number column. So ID will win this competition and ID will be your primary key. So this is the explanation you have to give if someone is asking you questions. Okay. Okay, hope this is clear. Question number 3. Guys, you all are not asking questions. Okay, question number 4. Create a balance table with balance ID, transaction ID, customer name, location as columns, and balance ID, transaction ID is composite primary key. Correct. So same thing. This is exactly same as question number 1 and 2, and the same concepts what I have taught you right now in 1 and 2. You have to take care of those things. If I have told you balance ID and transaction ID is a composite primary key, this must be composite primary key. Okay. And you should not make customer name and location as a not null, or you should not create this separately as a not null. Okay. So the crux of all these things is don't assume anything. Don't assume anything while doing all these things. Okay. So everything must be as per the requirement. And even if you think that, okay, if I will do this, that will be better, then you should not do that as well. Okay. Because you never know the questions has been framed from which point of view. What is the background behind? Maybe you can suggest to your business analyst or the business stakeholder that if we can do this, that will be better. But you should not do that based on your assumption. Assumptions are very dangerous in IT industry. You should not take any assumption. Okay. 5th question. Here it was a typo mistake. My bad. The guy to whom I have given this question has entered value incorrectly. Insert into fund. Okay, values null A. Here again, I think most of you have done the mistake here. So insert into fund values null A, comma 100. Which of the following statement? Actually, mistake from mind as well. There should be is /r correct as per above insert statement. Now tell me which statement do you think is correct? Come on, guys. Which one is correct? Who wants to go first? Now, Dhania, yeah. Tell me, what is your opinion? First and second. This will throw error as fund ID is a numeric column and cannot store null value. Okay, first and second. Then anyone else? Mrinal, what is your thought, Mrinal?
Second.
Second, okay. Prasad, which one is the correct option as per you? Thought.
Yeah, first one.
First one, okay. Pritish.
Yeah, first and second.
First and second, okay. First and
Can we say second and third? You had said mandatory and not null are equivalent and
perfect, Mrinal. Very good. Correct answer is second and third. Okay. Now, I'm leaving this to you guys. I'm giving you 1 minute of time. Think and tell me why I'm telling that second and third is the correct answer. Anyone who can give the justification why I'm telling that second and third is correct, why one is not correct. 4, you all are clear with 4 options. So 1, 2, and 3. This is the confusing part. Anyone who wants to go? Yeah, Mrinal, can you tell me why you have told that second and third is correct?
because it's not null. It's not null means it's mandatory. So first it will check whether there is any value or not. Then after it will check whether it's numeric or variable character value. So we can go for 2 and 3.
Perfect. Very good. See, first of all, I have mentioned here that fund ID is not null. Correct, no? I mentioned that fund ID is not null. And today only I have told you that not null and mandatory, they both are one and the same. If someone is telling you that the student ID is mandatory column, then it means you have to, while creating this table, you have to mark it as not null. So here I have mentioned fund ID is not null. Correct. So it means it should not accept null records. It should not accept null records. Now you are trying to pass null record. So if this will throw error message, let me try this. Try this one. This. Okay, table created. Trying to insert. Why this error message is coming? Tell me. What is the reason for this error message? Come on, guys. Who will answer this? Pritish, why this error message?
Yeah, actually, it's trying to insert a null.
Correct. You are passing null record here, and while designing this table, you have told that fund ID is not null. So that is why this error message is coming. Correct. So this will throw error message because fund ID is a not null column. Actually, statement 2 and 3, they both are one and the same. Not null or mandatory. Correct? No, that both are one and the same. Now, what about option 1? This will throw error as fund ID is a numeric column. Even if you have a numeric column, okay, and if you have not made that is not null, and if you're passing null values, it will accept null. Let me show you. So don't think that if any column is numeric, okay, it will not accept null. No, it will accept null. Suppose take the example of this college ID only. Okay, this example of this. Here, okay, I'm making like this. No, let me drop this table first of all. Dropped. Okay, I'm removing this not null condition. I'm just trying to show you that if a particular column is of number data type, even then it will accept null. Okay, that's not a problem. That null will be accepted only with var or char data type. No, it is not like that. See, it has accepted now. So from this, I have proved you that even if a numeric column is there, it can accept null. Don't think from that perspective that some column is null, it will not accept null. So if any column is numeric, it will not. See, fund ID has accepted null. Okay, that's the first option is ruled out. Hope this question number 5 is clear. Clear to everyone?
Yes.
Okay. Anyone who wants me to repeat? Purposely, I have given this question. You see, multiple choice questions are very dangerous. Okay, you have to be very, very careful when answering this kind of questions. Okay, but that's great. You all have tried. Most of you have shared your solutions, and I think I have replied you on top of the solution what you have provided. Great effort, guys. Very good, perfect. Now, whenever you are sending me the assignment, no, so just few means practices what I want you to do because it becomes very hectic for me to evaluate. So give your solutions. Like I think many of you have done. Like this is the first question. So take the assignment what I have given. So just below to the question, write your solution. So what will happen? I can read the question and immediately I can check what's the solution. Okay. So like second question, write your solution here. Third question, write your solution here. Okay. And while sending your solution, so in that just mention your name as well. Okay. That's all. Okay, guys. So this was all about assignment. Final call. Any question on this assignment part? Any concept which you want me to repeat? Please tell me. I'm more than happy to take that. No? Okay. No questions. I think we should proceed now. Further, I've taken one table yesterday. Today. Okay. I'm going to make a rule from tomorrow onwards that each one of you have to at least ask 2 questions on a daily basis. Okay. Fine. Okay. So Today's agenda February in order by is not in order by is not. Okay. Now, so this is the history table which I have created, and you can see few records I have entered here. Okay. Now the question is, I want to fetch the details of a student whose name is A. What should be the query? Come on, guys, tell me quickly.
Select a star from student to where name equal to A.
Name equal to A. Okay. It's like this, right? Is it correct? Is this correct query?
No.
A should be in caps.
Okay, it should be in caps. Why?
Case sensitive.
Because the records are case sensitive, and here we are having in the capital letters.
Capital, sorry, correct. So because SQL is case sensitive data, so you have to enter as it is. Now let me try with this. No data found. Okay. So the problem is, but I want to write in lowercase only, and I want the output. What I have to do?
We have to convert it
Lower
to
name.
No. Okay. Let me run this. Fine, you got the output. Okay. Now the question is, I want details of employee, sorry, student whose name is A or B. I want both the student details whose name is A and B both. What should be the condition, guys? And name is equal to B. Is this?
No.
No, then?
Where we can write where name equal to A or name equal to B, or
B.
we can write where name in A, comma B.
Yeah, I will come to that. So if you want the details of a student A and B both, so you have to write this name A, name is equal to A or name is equal to B. I think we have discussed this in the first class as well. Suppose you want details of name C as well. So you can write name equal to C. Okay. So like this you can do and you can get the details. Hope this is fine. Okay. Now our name is equal to X. Sorry. Run this. Oh, but name X is, there is no record with name X. Why?
We don't have records with X.
I don't have record with X. Then why it is giving this information? They should not give me this information as well, no? Because this condition is getting failed. Very good. Or condition is there. So in or condition, even if one condition is getting failed, don't think that all the conditions will be failed. This is the benefit of or condition. This is flexible operator. Even if some condition is failed, that's not a problem. So the conditions which will be satisfied among this, that will give you the output. Okay. Now there is a shortcut of this as well. If you want to use or, then you have a shortcut. Instead of writing multiple times or, you can write name in. Okay. So it is exactly same as or. You can write like A, B, C, or whatever you want, you can add in this. So this was the benefit of using in operator. Okay, in operator. You will get the same output. Same output is there, correct? So what's the benefit? Here you have to write or multiple times. Okay, so this is a little bit a smarter way. Just use in and this will give you all the records. Okay, hope this is clear. Any question on this? Now, suppose if I will ask you that in this table, how many students are there? Can you tell me how many students are there in this table?
we have to use 4.
How many students?
4.
4 students are there, correct? So this was just 10 to 20 records, I think, and that was easy. And you told me that, okay, we have 4 records. So manually you have seen and you told me that, okay, we have 4 records. But what if you have 20 million records, 15 million records in a table, okay, and asking you that how many employees are there or something like that, how many customers are there. So how you can find it out? Okay, so for that you have a keyword select distinct. Okay, select distinct name from a student. So with the help of this distinct keyword, distinct name, it will fetch you the distinct name from this name column. That's the benefit of this distinct keyword. Now you can see it is giving you that, okay, you have A, B, C, D. Now I can tell you that, okay, yeah, there is only 4 students. See, similarly, if you have customer table and you have 10 million records, so what you will do, select distinct customer name from customer. Okay. Any question on this, guys? Distinct? No questions?
Actually, see, without using distinct, can we use with count and a unique name?
Perfect. Count you can use. Let me show. I'm not sure. Same thing what you're telling, I understood, but let me. Count, you can write count of distinct name. Okay, from a student. So it will give you the exact count, how many distinct students are there. So you have 4 students. Okay. Now, if you want to use count of name, so what is the difference here? Count of distinct name and count of name. What's the difference? Anyone?
It will take a duplicates count.
Correct. If you're telling count of name, what it will do, it will calculate all the records which is present in name. Let me run this. I think total 12 records we have. It will give you total 12. Well, see, 12. Why? Because what it has done, when you have executed this query, so in this student table, how many records with name are there? 1 record, 2 record, 3 record, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Similarly, 10, 11, 12. That is the count of name has given you all the records present in that name column. But if you want that distinct, so you have to write count of distinct name. Okay, this is the difference between count of distinct name and count of name. If you're writing count of name, so it means it will calculate all the values, whether it is duplicate or unique, it will not bother. So it will just start counting all the records in this name column. Okay. But if you're writing count of distinct name, so first of all, it will remove the duplicates, then it will count it. Hope this is clear. Yes or no?
Yes.
Now, suppose if I will ask you, how many subjects are there in this student table? What should be the query?
Distinct subject and
Count of distinct subject. Okay. And then just execute this and you will get the distinct subject. How many distinct subjects are there in this table? Physics and chemistry. Oh, 3 subjects. Let me see if there is anyone. The subject is physics, chemistry. Oh, physics, chemistry, maths is there. That's why. Okay. Three subjects are coming. So hope this is clear. How to find this? Any question? Any question on this? Prasad, any question do you have?
No, sir.
No. Okay. Okay. Tanya, is it clear to you? Okay. Fine. Now, one thing I want to ask ID. Name, subject. It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A, B, C. It is physics, chemistry, maths. Now, please concentrate on this table. if in this table I will ask you that, okay, how many distinct IDs are there? How many distinct IDs are there? Distinct ID. How many distinct IDs are there? Five, right? And this will be the output, correct? Okay.
Yeah.
We will ask you that, okay, how many distinct name are there? Then what is the output? Three. A, B, and C, correct? Now, if I'm telling that, okay, based on the combination of ID and name, tell me distinct ID and name combination. How many are there?
5.
1A is one record, correct? 2A. So can I tell that 1A and 2A, they both are duplicate?
No.
No. Why? Because, but A is coming twice, no? A is twice here.
We're considering both together.
We are considering the concatenation of this, correct? Both. So I agree that A is coming twice, but what about ID column? This is different now. So if any one column is different, it means the entire record is different. So 1A and 2A, they both are different records. Okay. 3B. Okay. 3B. This is different. 4B. Okay. What about this? But this is same, right? B is repeating here. This is duplicate record, correct?
No.
No. Why? Same justification.
Yeah.
B is same, but ID is different. That is why this is not duplicate. This is distinct record. Then you have 5C. 5C here. So if I'm asking you the combination of this ID and name, these are the distinct. So from this example, what I'm trying to make you understand, that distinct you have to understand. Are you asking distinct of a particular column? You see, if I ask you distinct ID, so I got this 5 records. If I ask you distinct name, I got only 3 records. Okay. So if someone is asking you, tell me the distinct record in this table. So you should ask that, okay, on which column you're asking distinct? On ID column, on name column, on subject column, or the combination of ID and name, or the combination of ID name and subject, or ID and subject, or ID name subject. Like that, you have to ask the question. Okay. Now, tell me the distinct based on name and subject. Who will answer this? Name and subject combination. How many distinct records are there? 1 physics. 1 and?
No, it's still name.
Oh, name and subject I mentioned. No, sorry, here. A and physics. Okay. A and chemistry. So they both are same record or different record?
Different record.
Different record. Why?
Combination of both, concatenation of both.
Here name is same, but subject is different. Even if any one column is different, it means the entire record is different. Okay. And what about this? B maths.
Singleton.
I will take both the records, right? B maths, correct?
No.
No. Only one?
Yeah.
Why?
Because
both are same.
Both are exactly same. B maths, B maths. They both are exactly same. All the columns are exactly same. That is why you have to discard one. Only one will be accepted. Okay. Then C chemistry. Okay. So hope you understood the concept of distinct, guys. Distinct on a particular column or on the combination of columns. So you have to be careful while working on this distinct. Okay. Now, similarly. So, okay. Fine. Okay. I'm trying to insert one null record in this table. I'm going to insert it. Start from this right. Fine. Now you can see there is a record with null. Here name column, purposely I've added a null record. And the question is that, okay, write a query to fetch me the null records. So what's the query for that? Anyone who knows? I want only the null records. Where name is null. Okay, so you have to use this is null keyword. Whenever someone is asking you that, okay, tell me the null records, you have to use name is null. Please make note of this. You should not write is equal to null. Okay, is this fine? Null record is present here. Okay. Now suppose the question is that no, I don't want the null records. I don't want the null records. No, what should be the query for that?
Not
is
operator.
Not null. Very good. Is not null. This is very, very famous syntax. So now you get all the output. Null records are not present here. Correct? Okay. Now this is a question for you guys. And you all have to write a query for this and share me on the chat box. And send to me only, not to everyone. I want to see how many null records are present in this table. I want to see how many null records are present in this table. Write a query for that. I want everyone to try.
Where name equal to null, right?
I want how many records are there with null records. Yeah, name is null. Correct. Yeah. Okay, someone. Name is null. Very good. Very good. Nania has replied. That's correct. Pritesh has replied. From Sir, your name is null. Correct. Pritesh, your answer is also correct. Very good. 2 responses I've received so far. Okay. So this is okay. Someone else. So it is none. The concept. Okay. Fine. I got this is not put as well. So overall, this two what I have. So this
Only
is
one
the
question.
Yeah. Tell me.
Yeah. Why we can't use equal to here?
And this?
Yeah.
Okay.
So logically we should use is actually, but why we can't use equal to?
Equal to. Okay.
Equal to
Correct.
is a kind of matching each and every character, right? Exactly.
Yeah. Just give me 1 minute. Okay, I will answer that question. Okay. Very good question. Let me answer. But before that, let me get the solution for this. Okay. So this is the correct answer. Select count start from a student where name is null. Okay. If I run this, you'll get that how many records are there with name null. Only one record is there with name as null. Okay. So second solution, if you will run this one, it will give you all the records. This is also correct. This will give you all the records with null. But from here, you cannot see how many records are there. Okay, this is only one record. You can tell manually. But what if you have millions of records and in that, suppose 10,000 records are null. So you should use count of a star where name is null. Okay, hope this is clear. And similarly, if someone is telling you that, no, I want to see how many records are there with not null values. So you have to use is not null. Hope this is clear. Okay, now I think Pritesh was asking question, right? That why we are using null and is null, right? Pritesh, you have asked? Or
Yeah.
Mrinal has asked? Pritesh has asked. Okay, fine. Before answering that question, let's try to understand. No, okay. Just one more thing. Let me tell you, and then I will come to that. Okay. Now, in this same example, select a star from a student. Suppose the requirement is, okay, this in this table, we have seen that that here name is null. Okay, it's blank. Now the requirement is that no, if name is null, don't show or don't display like this. Okay, display it NA. So wherever name is null, display it like NA. It should be like NA. Okay. So in that case, what you have to do, write ID, name, subject, and then you have a keyword, reserved keyword of SQL, NVL. Okay, NVL, and write comma NA. So what's the benefit of this NVL command? Try to understand. Very, very useful keyword. This NVL, what it will do, it will wherever in the ID column, if you have null records, it will, wherever null is there, please make a note of this point. Wherever null is there, it will convert that null records in which format?
NA.
NA.
String form. Yeah.
Okay. So wherever null is there, that will be converted into NA. So that is the benefit of this NA. Now let me run this and let me show you this. ID value identifier. Why? We have ID in this table, no? Here is the I've written is student ID or what?
Actually,
Oh, name. Sorry. Name was there. I've written ID. Name. Comma. Okay. Now see. This has been converted to NA. Is this clear?
Yeah.
Okay. Fine. Now this name is coming again twice, so you should remove this one. This is not required now. So you can display like this. NA is present here. So like that, you can convert wherever null is there to any other value, whatever you are looking for. Okay. So hope this NVL is clear. Any question, guys? Before I proceed to answer the question, what Pratisha has asked. Any question? Any question? General. Yeah. Sorry, Danya, what you asking?
Yeah, let's say this null value is in a ID field, and we are trying to interpret it as a NA. So will it happen?
That will throw error. That will throw error. Good question. That if that is an ID field, okay, and you are trying to enter NA. Let me show you that. Just a minute. That will throw error message. Regions, make it straight to one. So, okay, fine. So here what I have done, I have created a table, and in that table I have taken two columns, and one is numeric and another one is character column. Okay, where cat2. So you can see once I have taken ID as null, numeric column null, and then name as a null. Now let's see what is going to happen here. Now I want to convert this ID to NA. I think this is the question that you have asked. Okay. What will happen? So what are your thoughts, guys? So if I will run this, what will happen? Come on. What will happen if I run this query?
Replace null value with the string NA.
Replace null value with the string NA. Okay. So this will throw you an error message. Okay. Invalid number. Why? Why this error message is here? Who will answer this?
Because
Data
ID is
type.
Data type. Perfect. Perfect. Good answer. Here, ID, I have mentioned that this is number. Correct? No? I have mentioned ID is a number. And I'm trying to pass a string NA. But that's a mistake. That is why this is throwing invalid number, because SQL engine was expecting the ID to be a numeric value. Let me give it a 0. That okay, if it is null, make it as 0. Okay, now if you will run this, they should not throw any error message. Fine. Here it was null. It has been replaced with 0. Hope this is clear.
Tell me one question here.
Yeah,
actually, we are just displaying the content of the table, right? So actually, we are not inserting the value in the table permanently.
Correct.
It is showing. It could show actually, sir. The view, the output is kind of temporary thing. So is it validating the data type from the metadata also while
correct. That is what I was about to come. It is playing with the metadata. Okay. Don't think that okay, you are not storing this permanently in the main table space. I think you are coming from that point of view that Tanveer, it is not getting saved there. Then what's the problem with displaying? It is just displaying that, right? That's a question, I think, right? So the answer you have told, it is playing with the metadata. Okay, you have mentioned that okay, this will only take the numeric values, whether it is for displaying purpose or it will keep this in the local buffer, or it will make a copy of that, whatever it may be. Okay, so it will store only numeric. That's the thing here. But this is not with Python. If you have worked on Python, this is not the case. That works on the runtime. You can store any value, and based on that, it will take data type. But here is the reverse. If you have mentioned that no, ID is number. So whether you want to display it or you want to store it, that has been stored in the metadata, and that will accept only numeric values. Hope I have answered the question.
Yeah.
Okay. But that is a good question asked by Mrinal and Pritesh both. Perfect. Okay, now this was all about NVL. Any question on NVL? Then I will move quickly on that question with Pritesh asked. Any question, guys? Any other question? No? Okay, now, before answering again this question, I have a concept of 0, blank, and null. Try to understand the difference between 0, blank, and null. If I will tell you that I have attended an exam and I got 0 marks. So this is clear that okay, I attended exam and I got 0 marks. Okay. And in front of my name, suppose this is ID, name, marks. ID is 1, name is suppose marks is blank. I kept this as a blank. Okay. And then I have one more record, 1. This is 0. I have one more record, 1. So try to understand the difference between the 0, blank, and null. If you have mentioned 0, so this is very simple and straightforward. It means he has attended the exam and he got 0 marks. Okay. If you have mentioned blank, so it means you're not sure about the marks right now. You are waiting for this marks. Okay. Maybe the mark sheet have not reached the class teacher. That's why you're waiting. Okay. Now, if it is null, it means you are totally blank. You don't know whether Tanveer has attended the exam or not, whether he was absent. He attended the exam, he has scored 0 marks, or still the marks is not present. What is the scenario? You're not sure about this. That is why null means you are not sure. You are confused. So always whenever you see null in SQL, no, so understand that, okay, null means confused in SQL. Okay, you're not sure. Zero means very clear. You have scored 0 marks. No further discussion. Okay, you have scored 0 marks. Blank means you are waiting for data. It is like that. You are waiting for data. Null means you are not sure whether he has attended the exam or he has attended and he has scored 0 marks, or maybe he would have attended and he is a topper. Correct. So multiple scenarios are there. So that is why null is considered as confused statement. Confused in that SQL. First of all, any question on this 0 blank and null? Is this scenario clear? The difference between 0 blank and null? Any question on this? No. Yeah. Now, null is not considered as data. I will show you when we'll study that union, all, minus, joins, the behavior of this null, and in that aggregate function behavior. Go and attend any interview based on SQL. One question, damn sure it will be based on null. Okay. Now, null is not considered as a data. Now, coming to the question which I think Pritesh has asked, that, okay, Tanvir, this is the query you have written, but why you have not written like this? Why is not written like this, right? I think this is the question, Pritesh. First of all, if I will run, forget about null, forget that was a bad dream, forget it, null is not there. Now, suppose if I'm running this, what's the problem with this query? Forget about null and all those things. What's the problem with this query? Think and tell me. I will not answer this. You guys have to tell me. What's the problem with this query? Who will answer? Nal, Prasad, Hania, Pritesh. Who will answer this?
We need to put the null apostrophes.
Perfect. You are telling that this is a data and you are searching for data. So you should keep this in quotes. First of all, is this clear? This is the rule, no? That if you're trying to search anything and that is a string, that you have to keep in quotes. This is the straight rule. We all know, right? You have to keep this in quotes. Now, if you're keeping this null in quotes, it means you're considering this null as a data. But this null is a data. Null is not a data in SQL. That is why you cannot keep this in quotes. Now, if you're not keeping this in quotes, the SQL engine will throw error message, because SQL is assuming that this is something data and the user is searching for this. So SQL will tell you that, okay, please keep this in quotes. Let me show you. No data found showing, but this is like data. So it is consuming that this is a data, right? So that is why you should mention that name. So that is what in null case, it is like is not null. You should not use equal to, because if you use equal to, that will be considered as a data, but null is not a data. So that is why in case of null, we have this unique name is null or is not null you have to use. Is this clear, Pritesh? This is unique only with null, no other conditions, only with null, because null is not a data in SQL. Please make a note of this point.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. I've shown you the confusing part of this null when I was discussing that count. If you remember that count of column, and I told you that count of a star means it will count everything, whether it is null, blank, or whatever it may be there. But if you're doing count of that column, so it will ignore the null record. So there again, null has different behavior. So you have to be very much careful with the null behavior, null handling in SQL. Pritesh, have I answered your question? Is that clear?
Yeah.
Okay.
One more question, Tanvir. Actually, it is a separate question. If we are using equal to, and if we want to use not equal to, suppose we are comparing with the data, like with the name. So not equal to is a kind of exclamation mark unequal to, right?
Okay.
And
so you were asking that, okay, if I'm right, select to start from the student 1, where suppose ID not equal to, you're telling, where is that?
not equal
this one,
to,
right?
Yeah. And yeah, and it will be in this way, and somewhere I saw it will
Yeah,
be
yeah. I will show you
greater
that as
than
well.
less than also.
So this is the one way, Norita found because there is Norita. This is the one way. And you can write like this as well. They both are one and the same. They both are the same.
Both are same.
Exactly same.
So we
Okay,
can
all the data is anyone you can.
interchangeably, right?
Anyone you can use it. Your wish. Anyone you can use. Whichever you feel it better. I prefer this one. But you can use anyone, whatever you feel comfortable. Okay, guys. Any final question before we close the session today? Any final question? Okay. So how was the assignment? How you're feeling the assignments are? The questions are very simple, or it's fine, or shall I increase the complexity level? How was that? Who will share?
Complexity level should be
Increased. Okay. Okay. Perfect. Anything else apart from that? Okay, sure. So I will try to increase the complexity on that. Okay, perfect. And any other feedback in general about the session today? The speed, content, whether I was too slow. Please let me know, guys, because I will be then under the impression that I'm teaching in a perfect way, but you guys can help me. Yeah. Anyone? How was that? Prasad, you are the expert one.
Yeah, no, sir.
Is this fine? The way is fine? Is this the speed okay, guys? Shall I continue with this only?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Perfect. Then I will share some more assignments based on today's topics, what we have discussed. And again, I will request everyone to share that by end of day. Okay. And mention your name. Fine then. Take care. Bye. We'll connect again tomorrow at the same time. Okay. Fine. Take care. Bye.
Tanvir, sir.
Yeah, Prasad. Yeah. Tell me.
Yeah, do you prefer any most suitable site? So actually, just like Google, that is one thing.
For practice?
Any site which you like, maybe
For
experienced persons.
For practicing SQL, you are telling?
Yeah, practicing and learning more complexity, with concepts or
See,
all sort of things.
for practice, mostly like HackerRank and Lead Code, these are the very common platforms. Okay. But if you want more complex queries and if you want to try, you can refer my LinkedIn questions. Okay. So those are there, but I think they are very complex. But apart from that, questions, the sample questions, I will look into that, Prasad. Okay. And I
Yeah.
will
Actually,
let you know.
mine is complete testing background.
Yeah.
So I worked on different like firmware testing and web testing and all this, including the database. Database is the one type of testing I used in my previous projects.
Okay.
I'm
So
looking
Prasad,
for. So if you browse in the net, a lot of sites will display.
Prasad, do one thing. Okay, for today only, try to go through my blogs on that LinkedIn. I used to post
LinkedIn.
SQL questions. First, just for today only, try to go through that and then tell me the complexity level is fine or what exactly, because I think I have posted more than 10 questions, 10, 15 questions like that. Then I have few other questions as well. Some interview questions are there. Okay. So I will share this things with you. I used it. Okay. But today, go through those blocks, at least one or two questions. You will get an idea that what's the complexity level there. Then I will prefer.
So your LinkedIn ID is.
I will share on the. On the group.
Please share and I will connect.
So fine. Okay. Any other question, guys? Anyone? Okay. If no, fine. We'll wrap up. Thank you. Take care. Bye.
Bye all.